Hello class, this is Ian Woodruff, the course coordinator for your Introduction to Management course. And this short presentation is designed to help you prepare for your upcoming Intro to Management exam in Semester 1, 2014. Let me start by looking at the exam overview. So you know from this course that we're looking for you to have picked up knowledge and abilities in key management areas. So the exam is going to test that ability. To what extent can you describe, analyze, or critique a piece of theory or a management concept or approach? And how can you apply those concepts? How adequately can you apply those concepts to the ANZ Bank case study? You know that the exam is 2 hours long and that you have 15 minutes upfront additional reading time. And you know too that the exam has the ANZ Bank case study, which you have already. I strongly recommend that you are very, very familiar with that case before you go into the exam. You don't want to be spending part of your exam time rereading and understanding the case. Have that clearly in your mind before you get into the exam hall. So the exam format you will have seen from the exam paper mock-up available to you on the course website that there are 5 questions, and you're asked to choose any 3 of those 5. Each question has 2 parts. Part A asks you to describe and critique the specific management issue or concept. So that's a theoretical part that is not related to ANZ Bank. Part B of the same question asks you to comment on the application of that same issue or concept to the ANZ Bank. So Part A is theoretical, no connection to the bank. Part B is applied directly to ANZ Bank. And you're choosing any 3 of the 5 examinable topics. So what are these topics? Definite exam questions will be coming from topic 4, global perspectives in management. Topic 5, power, politics and ethics. However, topic 5 will only test the ethics component of that topic. So not power, not politics, only ethics. Topic 7, managing others, sometimes called human resource management. Topic 9, managing change. And topic 3, environment and culture. Now, we added this topic. We said earlier in the course we wouldn't be testing this, but we've added it because it fits better with the case study, and the way that the exam questions have worked out, it seems a logical fit. And we think it's actually easier and more relevant for you to write about that topic. Because we've added environment and culture, we have removed from the examinable list topic 8, entrepreneurship and innovation. So topic 7 is about sustainability. It's not directly examined, but you may find ideas and concepts from that topic quite relevant when you're answering one of the other questions. For example, it might be useful when you're describing something about managing change. So feel free to bring in ideas from this topic into one of the examinable topics. So not examinable. Topic 1, managers and management. Topic 2, evolution of management or history of management. And as I mentioned, topic 8, entrepreneurship and innovation, has been removed from the list of examinable topics. It will not be examined. Because these are the 5 topics that are examinable, then clearly you need to have a good handle on each of those. So go back through your notes that you've taken in class on the 5 topics. Go back to the course website, and here you can see a graphic of the relevant topics. Topic 3, environment and culture. Topic 4, global perspectives. Topic 5, power, politics and ethics, but only the ethics component. Topic 7, managing others or human resource management. And topic 9, managing change. So thinking about these same 5 topics from the perspective of the matrix for the course, remember this slide from week 1 and again in week 12, you've got down the left side all of the topics from the course, and we've just said now that the ones that are examinable are international management or global issues in management, as it's also called, ethical management and only the ethics part of that, human resource management or managing others, and change management. So there are 4, and the 5th one is actually this dimension from the frames of reference, the culture and environment. So if you go across the topics and think about the ANZ Bank case study and organisational management, you get kind of the intersection of the ideas that are important for your exam. So first up, if you're looking at international management or global issues in management, in terms of the organisation, questions like what strategy should our organisation adopt to ensure success? In terms of the culture topic, do countries have different cultures and environments, and how might that feature in your answer to a question? Now, part B of your exam is all about this, the ANZ Bank case study. So if you're looking at international management or global issues and you're doing a part B question, it could be, how does ANZ Bank manage its business across national boundaries? So there are discrete things about the bank itself in relation to the issue of international management. Another example, human resource management, you choose that to answer. In terms of organisational aspects, how should we shape our HR functions? So if a part A question says something like, describe key functions of human resource management in organisations, maybe that's a starting point for you. Part B of the same question, if it's human resource management, there'll be something around the nature of the kinds of human resource management issues ANZ Bank encounters or is likely to encounter if it decides to do something new or different. So go through that, make sure you've covered all the intersections between the topics and the frames of reference point. I've left out this me as a manager because in the exam we're not asking anything about you. In part A we're asking for theory, and in part B we're asking what should the ANZ Bank do. So me as a manager is not relevant directly to the exam. So now moving on to the actual exam case study. So you've got the ANZ Bank case, it's on MyRMIT, you've got PDF and Word versions of it. The really important thing here is that you've read that case over and over again, because once you're in the exam hall, you don't want to waste your precious time rereading the case. You want to be able to just go straight to the points of the case that you think are relevant to answer the 3 questions you've chosen. So I won't talk any more about the case itself, but I will explain some of the principles of the Part B answers. Remember that you're only using the ANZ case study for Part B of the question, not in Part A. So the case is there, and it's a foundation or a starting point for your answer to Part B questions. Don't rewrite anything from the case study. It's there printed on your exam paper. Don't waste your time rewriting sentences or ideas from the case. Simply refer to the ideas that are there. For example, if you wanted to discuss aspects of the organisation statistics table and you think that data from that table is relevant to your answer in Part B, just write something like, as shown in the organisation statistics table, ANZ does the following. Now, you don't have to use all the information in the case for your answer. Don't feel that every piece of data or information from the case is relevant to your questions. It can't be, because you're choosing 3 out of 5 questions. So some of the content in the case will not be relevant to your answers. That's fine. Feel comfortable to leave things out. Similarly, if you want to add stuff, your critique of the ANZ Bank or the banking industry, you can bring that into the exam. You don't have to restrict yourself only to material that is printed in the case itself. So the case is just a starting point, a foundation for your answers. Part B answers are very individual. We can't really even predict very much what you're going to write, because it depends on your strategy and your approach and your ideas. So like we've said before, for Part B, we're looking primarily for a logical application of an idea or theory from this course to the ANZ case. Now, some of the questions may give you a little bit of a scenario. They might say, ANZ Bank decides to do something different. And because it's doing something differently, how might you apply certain ideas from the course to help the bank strategize or plan that? So I guess just repeating the whole concept, Part A is theory, simply testing your knowledge of content covered in the course, and Part B is where we apply that same theory used in Part A to the ANZ Bank. If we look down, there's a section on corporate governance, a bit about responsible behaviour. Now this is probably quite relevant to a question on ethics in the exam, Part B question. Human resource management clearly is relevant to the managing others or HR question on the exam. Here's some more detail about the bank's human resource management framework. So if you choose to answer the HR question for Part B, maybe you start thinking about which elements of this table might be relevant to your answer, depending on the actual approach in the question. Codes of conduct, again, is about, well, ethics and human resource. So one of the issues about the case is that although we've got 5 discrete questions, in reality, there's a lot of overlap. So when you're talking about human resource management, you're also talking about ethics and employees' behaviour. So again, feel free to draw ideas in from other topics when you're answering your questions. Further down the case, corporate social responsibility. We've said that sustainability is not directly examinable on the exam, but there might be elements of CSR that you think are relevant to human resource management or to culture. So again, not directly examinable, but feel free to bring it in if it suits your Part B answer. Stakeholder engagement principles. Now, you learnt in change management that stakeholders are critical. So is there something in here that you think may be helpful when answering Part B of a managing change question? Now, here is the mock-up of the actual questions. Answer any 3 of the following 5. All carry the same mark. Part A, question 1, describe and discuss a topic. Let's say it's a human resource topic. Describe and discuss human resources as a theoretical concept. So nothing about ANZ yet, it's simply the theory of human resource management. Part B of that same question, if it was an HR question, considering the same HR concepts you described in Part A, what advice would you give to ANZ Bank to help ensure that it does something? Now these dots are a little scenario, so we might suggest to you that ANZ decides to do something new or different, and you provide some ideas or strategies based on human resource management. So each question has that exact same kind of format. Theoretical Part A, application to the bank in Part B. You'll see that at the start of the question, we give you a little, what we call a preamble. So before the actual question, you'll get a sentence in italics, which sets the scene for you. It actually tells you what the question is about, because I know in exams, you're sometimes quite stressed and you might miss the point. So this bit up front actually tells you what we're on about, what we want you to describe and answer in the Part A and Part B. So read that first in your 15-minute reading time to make sure you're quite clear of the focus of the questions we're asking. You see the same thing for each of the questions. Now, in question 4 and 5, we've asked you to describe, well, actually to pick some elements of a topic. So maybe you've chosen, I don't know, 5 elements in a topic in question 4 Part A. In question 4 Part B, we're saying using the same 4 or 5 elements that you described in Part A, describe the relevance of each element to something about ANZ. So the idea here is that you've set up 5 key points, or 4, or whatever the number is, about a topic, and you describe what those elements are and why they're important. Then you take the same elements and now apply them directly to some aspect of ANZ Bank. So these 2 questions are a little bit more, I guess, prescriptive or formulaic than the first 3. That's probably good if you've got some really good ideas about what the 4 or 5 points are here. Then the Part B is, I guess, an easier answer. So keep that in mind, that those 2 questions are a little bit more structured than the first 3. Other than that, it's really about your ability to be logical in the 2 hours that you've got, communicate your ideas about how you understand the theory critically and how you might apply that theory to aspects of the ANZ Bank. We don't care if you're not a neat writer. You can be messy. As long as we can read what you're doing, that's fine. We're not concerned about grammar, and we're quite happy for you to have diagrams and arrows and all sorts of things to help explain your point. Just think of it from the point of view of the examiner. Whoever's reading your exam script has to be able to understand what you're getting at, and as long as that's clear and logical, no one's going to be fussed about how neat your work is. So read it through, be very clear that you understand the case. If you have questions before the exam, please feel free to email in advance, and if you do send a question, we'll send it back to the whole course, having first removed your identity from the question. Good luck with it all, and we'll catch you again sometime in another course.